We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our friends at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use the box at sign up for 10 points. And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Today is November 11th, Veterans Day. Thank you for all that served. Start off with that. Going into the NBA offseason, probably our final show for a couple of weeks. And I mean, season starts back up.
Well, we have the draft next week, Paul. So
let's draft next week.
Our draft show.
Well, this is kind of a draft show, but yeah, I mean, we got to, I guess, do one before that, right?
During the draft.
Before that. So we got two left.
Well, next week we're going to be going live during the draft.
The draft show, I mean, I feel like we only need to be live for the first three picks.
Oh, you could bow out as much as
No,
whenever you're ready to jump out, you can jump out, but they so the draft show should be exciting though,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully we get some guys to follow along with us, but I said, I mean, I would assume this year's draft, like many others in the past, the big one is the top three guys. I think that's where everybody on the outside world that's not fully dedicating their lives to watch the NBA. You've heard of the first three guys in any sense, but we got a lot to jump into today. All of the NBA draft we got a a lot of coaching changes throughout. I know I haven't been on here in a while. It feels I haven't even been on here since LeBron collected his fourth.
Yeah, we missed you. I had Joey Ficciatola on.
Yeah, I seen Joey,
aka Bubble Boy. I like to call him. Living down there,
I seen Joey. Said he had a good time coming on. I was watching from a little bit. Forget exactly what I had going on.
Hiatus or vacation or something.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
No, that was definitely cool hearing just what he had to say, being actually inside the bubble, which is you don't get too many people that were actually in that bubble. We were lucky enough to be able to get him to come on with us. That's shout out to Joe.
Yeah, and he was a little reluctant to share all his experience down there.
Yeah, I seen him. I seen him out one night getting refreshments, and he was like, yeah, I was kind of nervous, like seeing where it was going to go into with the questions and how far he was going to push. But I said he's lucky I wasn't here. No.
Yeah. So, listen, man, the NBA, we got a 1 week until the NBA draft. I know there's a lot of mock drafts. Then 2 days after that, you have NBA free agency. So right now you have trades, you have free agents. The draft itself is a crapshoot this year. There's no Zion Williamson or clear number one pick. What's that?
Yeah, definitely no clear number one pick, which is we haven't had that in a while.
And you have a team like the Warriors that are up on the 2 spot, which what do they need? I can't remember a draft at this juncture that has still so many questions involved in it. So
yeah, it was I mean, obviously we got Minnesota's got the number 1 pick overall. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that they're willing to trade down out of that spot.
Well, everybody's really ready to trade down. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't seem like the value is matching where they're picking. Golden State would like to trade down. Minnesota, like, there's not like a great fit. Like you knew Zion was going to be a Pelican. As soon as that number 1 ping pong ball had their name on it. But
right.
There's so many trades and scenarios. And our elite sports debate partners right here just they bring up a question too. About the whole debacle in Houston. Shams broke that Westbrook wants out of Houston. Yeah, he wants out. Harden wants out. They don't really know what direction the program is going in now that Daryl Morey joined the Sixers, and we appreciate have him, back on the, to kind of steer the Sixers into where they're going. But that leaves Houston and their new coach Steve Silas with a world of questions. What they're going to do. So yeah, Houston has a lot of issues and questions going on. But they have James Harden. Yeah, they're one of the most inefficient scorers in Westbrook. So we'll see what they do if they can move them.
Yeah, I was. You seen some things. It was literally on ESPN about 20 minutes ago. As I was catching a Call of Duty dub, I just overheard them saying, like, is now the time to make the move on Harden, where you would trade him to Philly for Ben Simmons, and obviously you gain about 7 years on the lifespan of your player, and you're bringing in another potential superstar, and where the Sixers are more of a win now, need this kind of guy situation, which, I mean, as a Sixers fan, I always say I don't want to get rid of Ben Simmons. I mean, if you're bringing in James Harden, is that something you even – I mean, obviously you're paying attention to it, but is that something that you would agree to bring him here?
Anytime. The two things about that kind of made me raise my eyebrows a little bit. You have James Harden was available. Okay, so they're making him available. Whenever you get a 7-time All NBA player, perennial All Star, and he obviously has a relationship with Daryl Morey available, then people are going to take notice. The other thing too is they don't want Joel Embiid at all. The player that they want is Ben Simmons, and not really sure if Daryl Morey is really ready to give him up, get Ben Simmons, which would be, very, very interesting to do. So right now you got to take a wait and see approach. Daryl Morey loves to trade. He likes to make wheeling deals. I'm not in love with all the deals that he made throughout his career in Houston. I mean, he pretty much took James Harden because they were trying to dump salary in OKC because they couldn't sign them all. Other than that, trading Chris Paul, he gave up way too much. Westbrook trade isn't really great. So he left Houston with not much in the cupboard except Harden and Westbrook, and which is a nice duo, but it's not really a duo that's going to bring you an NBA championship. Yeah. So if I'm them too, if I'm the Sixers, I'm not used to ready to pair James Harden with Joel Embiid. I just don't think that's a great fit. At all, because Harden lives at the foul line. He's going to be taking ball dominant. He's going to have the shots, and I just think Embiid's attitude and temperament, I think, it pretty much wear on Harden, and I don't think it would be a huge relationship. So I'm good on that. I'd prefer the Sixers just kind of stay where they're at and build from within. I don't think they need to do it.
And what I took from
what you ruin the shirt I have too. I mean, I can't have that. Yeah,
but doesn't that scare you, the fact that you're watching guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis who have monster egos surrounding them that are able to join up as teammates, and Joel Embiid, who hasn't proved anything, is too stubborn to get along with another superstar to go win an NBA championship?
Well, I don't really think it's his attitude. See, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they fit well on the court together. Anybody could really play with LeBron. So they fit well on the court together. I just don't feel that Embiid and Harden would fit well on the court together. And so they're going to, stuff can spill over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you haven't really heard much from Joel this offseason since he kind of had, the announcement of having he had the baby, which was kind of surprising amongst people. They just had a new uniform announcement, and that was all Ben Simmons, all Allen Iverson. We pulled up here for everybody there, but so when you're looking at this kind of stuff, it's like, hey, where's where's Joel been at? Daryl Morey, Doc Rivers. I haven't really heard much from him, so I'm not going to bash Joel at all in any means, but I just don't know how many years have we been saying as Sixers fans that we want him in the paint, we want him dominating, right?
Right.
You bring Joel Embiid, I mean, you bring James Harden, it clogs up the paint. I mean, you've seen the system that he ran in Houston, which obviously isn't the same system Doc Rivers is going to use. So that's going to be interesting to see. But listen, whatever Houston does, there's the other thing too is Chris Paul. Chris Paul to Phoenix has been
saw that
a lot of love. What do you think of the fit of that?
I mean, I think it's a lot. Where was what are they saying? It was where he either goes to OKC, go back to OKC, Phoenix, and what was the third team? That was
Well, right now they talked about even the Lakers. I mean, so you're looking at Chris Paul. They haven't really talked about a package for Chris Paul yet.
I mean, Phoenix. I love Phoenix. I love.
Yeah, Phoenix right now is the team that has all the traction, but they haven't really put together a package yet, or we haven't heard anything
Right.
as far as.
I mean, the Lakers. I don't see him necessarily. I mean, LeBron. I don't know. Does LeBron continuously not bring the ball up, not put the ball in his hands? You know, that's what Chris Paul kind of is known for. But
well, it'll give. I mean, it might give help both their careers because they both shoulder the load about being the primary ball handler.
Is Rondo back in LA this year?
Rondo's a free agent. I mean, we have the free agency, right? List coming up. I mean, and there's a ton of free agents available. Anthony Davis, he still has to opt into his player option. See, now you only have a draft, then you have a week, and then you have 2 days, and then you have a month from the start of the NBA season, which I believe is December 22nd. Right. Then you have the free agency. So you're looking at very quick turnaround in the season, which LeBron kind of cried about a little bit. You know, he seems like he's getting a little bit more cranky in his old age. But so you're looking at these guys with a quick turnaround. I don't know how much movement we're going to see in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big names on the free agency market. I know we're going to go through them a little later. Jumping back to where we were in regards to the NBA draft. I mean, I think we could kind of. Do you have your mock top five guys where you think they might possibly go?
Mock five.
What order for you makes sense? I mean, maybe your top three. How you figure? Let's do the top three.
Well, I mean, to do a mock on this draft is probably the most insane things that there's really been. You have a LaMelo Ball who's has the most potential star power. Then you have James Wiseman, who is your prototypical freak athlete. If you had an NBA center, that you made in a player in 2K, he would probably be the prototypical one. Then you got Anthony Edwards, who seems to be the favorite of most people as the best player in the draft. High volume scorer.
Big time scorer.
What's that?
It's a big time scorer.
Definitely big time scorer. But everybody on here has has questions about their game, about their fit, and then when you try to pair them into the teams that are picking at this level, it doesn't seem like there's a great fit. So at the top of the draft, I've seen LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards be 1 and 2 in some sort of aspect. Now, LaMelo Ball playing with D'Angelo Russell, I think, is a pretty horrible fit.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly where I was leaning with that, which is why I heard that they were willing to trade down, which I heard somebody that wants to come up big time is the Detroit Pistons.
Now, the Detroit Pistons, have heard that they're looking to trade up, and they're looking at LaMelo. Now, LaMelo Ball, he's been interviewing horribly with NFL teams, attitude,
NBA,
maturity, stuff like that. All the questions that you had that he might you kind of give him the credit for kind of developing since he's been like 15-year-old thrusted on celebrity stardom because of his brothers. That kind of seems to has come back into question. So that kind of raises our eyebrows a little bit too there, So if Minnesota keeps the pick, I think that they go with Anthony Edwards. He plays a little bit better next to D'Angelo Russell. You already have Cat out there and Karl Anthony Towns. And the big thing that I think that they're making a decision is because Malik Beasley, who played phenomenal last year, but then he gets in trouble off the court now. And he's a restricted free agent. I think they might want to cut their ties from that organization. So if they're looking to do that, then I think Anthony Edwards is the pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't think that they're going to draft there. and I don't think they're going to bring in LaMelo Ball. I said I see Minnesota trading out of that, which probably makes sense for them. And the scenario that I read that made probably the most sense to me was the Pistons going up and trying to get them. So, I mean, I would say that there with LaMelo Ball. Two, and I mean, Weissman just seems, does he not fit perfect for what Golden State needs?
Yes and no. Okay, and that's one of the things. He fits perfect for what they need, as far as like they need that rim running shot blocker. He's an upgrade from Kevin Looney. He's an upgrade from JaVale McGee.
Big time upgrade.
What's that?
A big time upgrade from those guys.
Well, here's the thing now, though. You put him on the court in a team who's expected to defend, contend for the championship. Is he ready? He's only played 11 games. He wasn't, he sat out. Most of his stats that you've been seeing is from the EYBL and the AAU league and stuff like that. So you're not looking at a team that's going to have a whole lot of error and room for him to grow. You know what I'm saying? They want somebody to impact them now. But with that being said, if Golden State keeps the pick, because I really don't want to get into going back and forth like trading picks, because I think everybody wants to trade back in this draft.
Right. I think Golden State, I do think that they want this Wiseman.
There's talk about the Golden State with the number 1 pick for Giannis and blah blah blah. I don't think that's a reasonability. So I think that they're that they really like what they really want to fill that position. Weissman is probably the pick, but another name that I've been hearing out there is the kid from USC, Oneke Ogakwe.
Yeah.
Now he's really. Bam he really needs to send Bam out of
South Carolina.
Say that again, bud.
He's from South Carolina, USC.
No, USC, University of Southern California. So he's going out there, and Bam Adebayo he's pretty much the same physical build as Bam Adebayo. All right, he has that explosiveness. He's kind of. He's a little bit like Zion last year without the hype, so think of it that way too. He's very similar players, and I know Golden State really likes him. So when you compare that, I think Golden State stays with this pick, gets a center, but I think they eventually lean to Wiseman and try to go for the prototypical center.
All right. Yeah. And what do you got?
So
three is obviously, or you said Edwards 1, Weissman.
Now here's where the draft gets really interesting. If you go Edwards and then you go Weissman, now you're looking at does Michael Jordan want to deal with LeVar Ball? Is he a good fit? Devontae Graham on that team, Terry Rozier's on that team, so they already have guards. And the thing with LaMelo Ball is he can't shoot. That's the thing. He obviously he can shoot a little bit, but he shot like 26% from 3 in the NBL, and so you're looking at a guy who really needs to improve the defense. Now his best asset is passing, right? He's a phenomenal passer, good feel for the game. But when you're looking at the headache that he could possibly bring, I'm saying that they go with they go with them, but it is not. It's going to be something very, very interesting to see how that Charlotte organization deals with it.
Right. I think he'll be gone before that. I think he will be the first pick of the draft.
You think you go well now? If there's trades and stuff like that, to Detroit, then I could see that happening. But if Minnesota keeps the pick, I don't think that they're taking LaMelo Ball.
Right, because Anthony Edwards he kind of makes sense in Charlotte.
A little bit he does, yeah.
They need a scorer, and that's pretty much he's the best scorer I would say in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen,
the best scorer,
the best NBA comp that I think for Anthony Edwards probably Donovan Mitchell. I wouldn't really put him in a D Wade category because I think he already comes into the league with a little bit better jumper than Wade comes. So Donovan Mitchell is a good comparable to him. He's just going to go out there and score. He might not play much defense because that's where our big the questions have been is like, what's the defense motor? So now, I would have right now. I would put LaMelo Ball on Charlotte because I just think that eventually he ends up there. But I don't think it's the. I mean, the kid is 6'7.5", can facilitate, and then they have Devontae Graham, and Devontae Graham came out of nowhere 2 years ago and really, and was one of the most improved player this year, and he's spot up 3, so he might be able to play very well off him.
And then what? It goes to what? Chicago.
So then it goes to Chicago,
Cleveland, Atlanta.
Chicago, Cleveland. So
I couldn't even tell you that far down. Now this is where your boy goes, right? The what's it, Okongwu
in Charlotte?
No,
I mean in Chicago.
No. I mean if he's still there, you got to figure within them next couple of picks.
No, Chicago has Larry Markkinen and they have Wendell Carter, so I don't really see them going in that direction. They have Kobe White as their point guard, and you have Zach LaVine as your scoring guard. What I really think they would need is because Kobe White's more of a scorer anyway. I think the kid from Israel, Denny Avdija, I think that he's really going to be a nice fit. He's that point forward, very Hedo Turkoglu, Tony Kukoc kind of mode and he could hit the 3. So I think he would step in and be a nice developmental piece, and they could fit perfectly there. They have Otto Porter, who I think he has $28 million left on his contract, and he's a free agent, so I don't expect him to be there all season. So I think Chicago goes for Denny Avdija there, and I think that it would be a great fit. Okongwu is he's a nice prospect, but as far as immediate fit, there's just not the minutes there for him at center with Wendell Carter. And they also got Daniel Gafford, who's played well. So, I mean, unless there's a trade or something like that, then all bets are off.
Yeah, and I seen Obi Toppin in the mock drafts I was looking at. I seen him going to Cleveland, kid out of Dayton.
See, I've seen that a lot too. But I don't like Obi Toppin to Cleveland because first of all, he's an undersized power forward. He's a quintessential stretch 4. You have Kevin Love there. You have Andre Drummond there. You have Tristan Thompson there. Unless they do something to move them and go for who else is there? There's Nance. Nance is still there.
Right.
So you have
your last 2 first-round picks were what? 2 point guards.
Yeah, they picked
Sexton and
Colin Sexton, Young Bull, and Daniel Garland,
right?
From Darius Garland from I forget where he went to school, but so they went there.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, their centers. Those guys are you're naming Drummond, Kevin Love. I mean, these guys that are washed up. Kevin Love hasn't done anything since LeBron James left him. Andre Drummond, I mean, I get he's still putting up some productive minutes. Not in a fantasy basketball sense. You don't even have him. He's not even rostered. That's where I was saying if it wasn't Toppin, and I can't even say the guy Okongwu was still there. Yeah. I mean, I would say that would make sense for their future. You got 2 young point guards. Start bringing in the big guys that are going to be there with them for the remainder of the next couple.
Well, if they decide to go big, which I'm not 100% sure that they would do, unless they couldn't get somebody to get that. I think this would be the spot where Okongwu goes because Obi Toppin gives you absolutely no defense at this point.
Right. That's what I was saying. If Okongwu is still going to be there, I would say he's definitely going to go before Toppin.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's not definitely he goes Toppin because see the thing with Obi Toppin is I think he could come in. He has a little bit more experience, veteran upside, and he could come in and play in the NBA tomorrow. He's already ready. That's why I have a team like even Golden State if they actually decide to trade down, you're looking at a potential good spot for Obi Toppin as far as like that rim runner. He's a human pogo stick. I mean, Toppin reminds me a lot of Kenyon Martin. But not as active on a defensive end. He's not a shot blocker. for
Right.
somebody that has the hops and everything like that, he's not really committed on defensive side. Now that hasn't been the case in college. It's not saying that it can't be when he gets to the NBA.
Sure.
Toppin to Cleveland, I mean, hometown story, Dayton, blah, blah, blah. But I just think that Cleveland at this point, they would probably want to go more with the prospect with the higher upside than the more of the finished product in Toppin. So that's why I would go with Okongwu. So,
Gotcha. We got John Suggs and Toppin to Detroit. Like I said, that's if Detroit doesn't try to. I mean, all reports coming out of Detroit is that they're going up. So if they can't make a trade happen and they're sitting here, I mean, does Toppin make sense for them?
Well, we got to get past Atlanta first. So, because after Cleveland is Atlanta at number 6. Now, right now, Atlanta has a great young guard, horrible defensively, though. In Trae Young, John Collins. They traded for. They have Kevin Huerta. They traded for.
This is where I seen your boy from Israel going.
I mean, he would be a nice fit if he got back there. But who I would pick here for Atlanta is Tyrese Halliburton, the combo guard, point guard from Iowa State. He has the size where he could play next to Trae Young and kind of pick up that big point guard too. They could work well together. Allow Trae to move off the ball a little bit more and find that jump shot that he loves to throw up from 30 feet. So I think that would be a nice spot for Tyrese Halliburton.
I was seeing him with the Knicks.
The Knicks are definitely going to go point guard. That's what they're looking at, But I don't know if why am I getting? I just got a billion texts from your buddy Tard here.
KG was asking who did we say for the Bulls pick? I think Tony had said. Is this where you said Avita?
Yeah, I said Deni Avita. I think he makes the most sense as far as the combo point forward style. Levine and Kobe White could play off the ball and score like they like to. I think he's just he's your classic Euro player who does everything well. Athleticism is good enough. He's not going to overwhelm you, but he does everything well. So I think he's going to be a nice young piece to that young Bulls core. So that's what we went with that. Of course, John Suggs says Atlanta is talking about them. Yeah, he is, but as we got him going to the Bulls before he goes to Atlanta.
Right.
So he's not there to pick, but he would be also a nice piece. So Halliburton, Avita for Atlanta, I think both of them are good. Good people to take the pressure off of Trae Young because he needs it. Because listen, as phenomenal as Trae Young was with offense, he was literally the worst defensive guard in the NBA. So that's going to have to improve if they're going to take the next steps.
Like I said, it's kind of a toss-up in between that 5, 6, 7, 8 spot. Depending on who's jumping out of there, who's going back up, which, like I said, you can't really predict any trades that are going through.
Yeah, crazy.
Once we get down like this far, you have no clue who's actually going to be there. And we're not here to give you guys a mock draft. But what did strike my eye, Cole Anthony, how far did he fall this year? It wasn't he came into the league as the number 1 overall kind of player of the year out of UNC, and he's like 17, 18, 19. I mean, I was going to
talk about Cole a little bit later in the draft when we go into some of the guys that I consider sleepers, but in the later rounds. If you want to get into Cole, we could get into Cole. So Cole Anthony, he's been getting a lot of flack, I guess, and negativity, and he's fallen a little bit because of people who actually didn't watch him play or wasn't familiar with the situation in Carolina last year. Me, for one, as a Carolina fan, and was hoping to have big things from Cole Anthony. I was blown away by his leadership. I was blown away by his heart. He's a kid who got hurt early in the season. No reason to come back and continue to playing on a god awful team that for Carolina. Cole Anthony, a lot of the detractors are saying about his shooting percentage, his 3-point percentage, his turnover percentage. He literally was the entire offense in North Carolina, and a lot of those shots were getting thrown out when the shot clock was running out. The offense wasn't for him. He was trying to finish over everybody, and I think that really is hurting his draft stack. And also what's hurting him is him not being able to go and work out for a number of teams too. He has the intangibles as a combo guard that you're looking for in the NBA. He's definitely going to be one of those guys who's a better NBA player than he is a college player, especially in the situation he was in Carolina.
You better hope, because like you said, his college did not look too good for UNC this year. Like you said, he was hurt. You also couldn't friggin'
Listen, if you
couldn't really go out, work out.
If you look at a guy like James Weissman, who had a little snafu
Right.
and then just quit the Memphis team. You know what I'm saying? He was the number one prospect. You look at a guy like RJ Hampton, who's another guy. He went to Australia, same league as LaMelo Ball. He struggled. He was rated just as high as Weissman, and then RJ Hampton goes to Australia and struggles. So you have to look at everything in context. And I think Cole Anthony is going to play in the NBA. He's going to play in the NBA a long time. He just has the skills, and he has the work ethic. He's the son of a former player who was very successful in the NBA, so he knows what it takes. I expect big things with him going on. So, but yeah, he was projected to go top 10, and now he's all over the board. I see him at 14. I see him at 22, 24 earlier today. So, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the crapshoot of this current draft. So, I think we were on the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, are we predicting these? I was kind of moving on from the draft with all I think it's trades, and I don't know where you at. I'm done. The draft.
Gotcha.
That's where I was. I know you wanted Cole Anthony. I was giving you him, but I mean, like I said, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't know who's going to be there.
Well, actually, this draft you don't even know who's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or who deserves it. So that's why it's a little bit interesting. As far as Cole Anthony would be a great fit on the Sixers, playing off Ben and stuff like that. Serge, who was on the NBA Jam? What's up, Serge? How you doing, buddy? This is the NBA Jam, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons edition. Thanks for the love, buddy.
You get that shirt.
What's that?
You get that shirt on the World Wide Web anymore?
Well, we get them all. I mean, the sponsor sends them to us from the show, Crowdplay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, Cole Anthony is in that range of guys like Grant Tiller, RJ Hampton, Malachi Flynn, these point guards that have either they've have skills that transfer very well to the NBA, and for whatever reason they have detractors that they might fall on a draft. Like you have a guy like Killian Hayes and some of these other guys like Halliburton that you don't know is one of these guys going to be Michael Carter Williams Jr., one of them going to be Lonzo Ball, or is they actually going to step up and be like a superstar like Penny Hardaway? There's so many questions, especially in the guard position in this draft. So it's definitely interesting.
All right. Like I said, I mean, just jumping out of the draft. Like I said, we got the draft show coming up next week. Moving into a little bit of NBA, going to new faces and different places. I know there's been a lot of coaching changes in the NBA. One with both of our hometown team, the Philadelphia 76ers. We got what some people think the savior here. You got a highly decorated coach in winning Once again, he's only got one title consistently in the playoffs. I mean, is Doc Rivers your saving grace for the Philadelphia 76ers?
Well, you're talking about NBA coaching changes. It's crazy because 1/3 of the league almost has changed head coaches. So when you want to talk about Doc Rivers, is he the savior? Absolutely not.
Jumping into our team first.
Yeah, if you're looking at Doc Rivers as a savior, I mean, I think he's an upgrade. As far as like being respectable around the league. He has a little bit more experience. So I think that's what brings us to as a savior. So the combination with him and Daryl Morey. Listen, this type of move is at the very least 2 years too late. Okay, Brett Brown, as I said many times on the show, I've been saying it for years. He was brought in to tank. Once you bring somebody in the tank, he's not the guy that's going to take you to the next level. And then you even gave him GM responsibilities. You gave him a number of other responsibilities. Then you bring in Colangelo. Then Elton Brand was sort of the GM, but he worked with Brett Brown. So it's kind of like, you kind of scratch your head a little bit. Like, so now they have a veteran GM in place who has had mixed results. Mostly good, but when you get a player like James Harden and you just try to build around him every year, you're going to win a lot of ball games. Then you have your established head coach. I like what he's doing with the coaching staff too. And then you still retain Elton Brand, and Elton Brand signed a 5-year deal. He's going to learn now from Daryl Morey, and that should help him. So I think there's now a clear structure in the organization where it wasn't before. And you've seen it because now you got contracts like Al Horford, Tobias Harris, don't
remind us.
Yeah, and now you got to figure out how to get out of them, and then you got to figure out if Doc can figure out how to use these guys. Tobias Harris had played well in his stint with the Clippers under Doc Rivers before.
Right.
So you're looking at like, hey, this could be a really good thing, and with if Ben and Joel and Tobias. Because Tobias gets paid like a superstar. Let's see him start playing like a superstar. So with these guys are going to step up and embrace. Listen, I'm not fawning over Doc Rivers. I think he has his in-game coaching needs a lot to be desired. He absolutely got embarrassed last year. The last time we seen him, everybody was saying, me and you, I know, picked the Lakers to win a championship way back when. Probably this time last year. But everybody else was saying that the Clippers, this is the new Clippers, blah, 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 the Clippers. Well, last time we seen the Clippers, what happened? They were losing. Doc Rivers were getting a lot of heat from it. So, it's going to take a little bit of time to get him together. So it's a great direction though. I like it.
No, yeah, I agree. I like the Doc Rivers hire. Hopefully he can get the guys in check, just like I said. I mean, he's a well-respected name in the NBA, and pretty much anywhere he ends up, he should be respected. And hopefully the guys listen to him, seems like we need some in Philly. Like John Suggs was saying, yes, the Thunders did get a new head coach, Billy Donovan, out after 5 years in Thunder. I believe it's
he went to Thunder, but his contract was up and he took the job at the Bulls. Right. So I mean, you have Doc Rivers in Philly, you have Steve Nash in Brooklyn, you have
Van Gundy in New Orleans.
You got the Clippers with Tyronn Lue. The Rockets got Steve Silas. So it's like
Pacers. The Pacers
got it was Bignall or whatever. No, that's the Thunder. Dagnar. Yeah, the Pacers got the assistant from Toronto.
Raptors, yes.
You have some very high profile names like
Dan Cooney out in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Silas.
Silas is in Houston now.
Over there, right?
Yeah. And he's been, he's somebody who has a lot of experience working with guards. He worked in Golden State with Steph Curry and Clay. He worked with Luka in Dallas. Now he'll be working with Harden and Westbrook unless there's some change made.
Kenny Atkinson out, Steve Nash in.
Yeah, and that was
a lot of hate on the Steve Nash hire. I know Stephen A. ESPN came out like a complete moron.
well, that's what Stephen A. does, right? I mean, he'd rather be loud and get attention and be right.
I mean, what a terrible take on his part. Just to I mean, social media gives him the platform to go home and still be this news guy without people writing what he should say, or at least censoring what he says. I mean, just for him to be so wrong and geared towards something that shouldn't even have been brought up due to we've seen it multiple times in the past with head coaches with no experience. It's not like they only have hired a white head coach with no head coaching experience. I mean, that was just the first debacle and mess. But I mean, clearly, I mean, does Kevin Durant and Kyrie have to sign off on this? Like
it's in there. Well, that's the thing where I think friggin' Screaming A. Smith missed the entire point, is that this was a move brought in by Steve Nash's relationship with Kevin Durant, and solely Kevin Durant.
Right.
If the GM Sean Marks for the Brooklyn Nets wanted to keep Jock Vaughn on staff as the head coach, so I don't want to hear Stephen A. bitch and moan about anything about privilege and stuff like that, because the powers that be in the Brooklyn organization wanted Jock Vaughn, and who's a very successful young black head coach. Kevin Durant wanted Steve Nash, so Kevin Durant gets Steve Nash. This is a players' league, so Kevin Durant gets what he wants. So, but listen, man, got some breaking news. We talked about it a little bit earlier today. I'm not going to hit the loud, annoying button, but I don't know if you saw this. Russell Westbrook is demanding out of Houston now. He just came through that he is demand. He said he doesn't like the accountability in Houston, and he has an uneasy feeling. And he wants to be the floor general role, so he doesn't want to play second potato to Harden anymore. So that's going to be interesting coming up to the draft. Do you see a team trading a draft pick?
What were you saying?
You see a team trading a draft pick, a high draft pick, to get Russ Westbrook and give him the keys to the organization? I can't say. He's one of the most inefficient scorers that we have in the NBA.
I mean, I would bring him into a team that has shooters. I mean, if he goes and signs in, I don't know, where's like too young. I mean, you want young shooters like Golden State. They're shot. Now he's getting traded out of there, right? Or is he a free agent?
No, he wants to be traded, yeah. And they gave him a ton to get him, and now this kind of stuff just makes it even worse. So
I mean, they just give players away now.
There's not really an organization that's going to be out there that's just going to give Russell Westbrook at this stage of his career the keys to their franchise. It just isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean he had the keys in OKC. He wanted out, and now, you're kind of. I mean, you're right. Who's going to bring him in? And they're right, like, to run their franchise. You've seen him.
He's a franchise cancer. I mean, there's, Houston. Like I say, everybody's happy that Daryl Morey came to Philly. Bringing Russell Westbrook to Houston.
He probably goes to the Knicks.
The Knicks.
Knicks will do that.
There's no way that Tom Thibodeau deals with Russell Wilson. There's absolutely zero. That's what I'm saying. Because people bash Russell. People bash Ben Simmons a lot for not shooting. Okay, if Ben Simmons chucked up 3-pointers like Russell Westbrook chucked up 3-pointers, the city of Philadelphia would be dragging him down Broad Street and getting him out of there. Right? But Westbrook continues to go out and play like that, and it's not winning basketball. It's horrible basketball, and he's a guy who develops completely. See, he's not past his prime athletically yet, right? Like a Chris Paul is, and like a Rajon Rondo. But these guys are thinkers. Westbrook isn't going to somebody that you give the ball in the hand that's going to run your offense. He's strictly athleticism.
You know, and he's got 3 years, $132 million remaining on his contract.
Yeah, that's why you don't bring him in there unless it's a marriage that's going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Or you trade James Harden.
Well, that might be
and bring in Ben Simmons, the same as Russell Westbrook. That would be good.
Yeah, Westbrook and Simmons would be an interesting combination. I'll tell you that because Simmons would probably just quit. To be honest with you, he'd quit mid-game. But and that's the thing you don't want. You don't want to do. You don't.
No, they would never. I mean, they could. They could never make that. I mean, where is a good fit that you see for Russell Westbrook if wanting to be traded?
A good fit?
Because I now that he mentioned the Clippers, right? I did see the Clippers. Knicks was off my head, and Knicks just need a big name.
I cancel the Knicks stuff because he's not going with Thibodeau. There's no way Thibodeau would sign off on that.
I'm surprised. They need a name in New York. Thibodeau's not the big name that they want.
Well, then that's fine because then Thibodeau will resign. So there's no way we're going to name for Thibodeau. It's just not happening. So if you're looking at places, so where are you going to put Westbrook in LA with? I guess you give up Paul George.
You would lose Paul George.
Who last time we seen him with Doc Rivers, they looked horrible. So you're looking at a devalued Paul George.
Well, it wouldn't be Paul George. It would be Kawhi Leonard and Westbrook.
No, but going the other way. So, I mean, you'd have to give up Paul George. You'd have to give up a couple other assets. And then you'd have Kawhi Leonard and Westbrook just doesn't – I don't know. I mean, why placate him? Why every team in the NBA has to jump through hoops to satisfy Westbrook?
5G just got real. iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro are here.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Pimping the iPhone 12? That sounds like an Atari thing. But
iPhone 12 coming in Friday.
That's a little breaking news. We did mention the coaching changes too. I mentioned Thibodeau in New York City. I'm trying to think who else. Clippers, Tyronn Lue. I mean, he's a straight players coach. He'd probably do whatever Westbrook told him to do.
We went through most of them. Well, you said Boland out in Chicago, Billy Donovan. I think we missed Bickerstaff earlier, got hired and replaced whoever the hell was in Cleveland. Was it Biden or Beelan, something like that?
Jim Beeline, yeah.
John Beeline.
Yeah. John Beeline, yeah, former college coach. But so we're looking at
he resigned. I don't think he got fired.
He didn't really have an option.
Yeah.
I
thought that was like
my old college buddy Arturas Knisevich is running the Bulls organization now, so see what he's going to do over there. But I think Billy Donovan.
You like Stan Van Gundy? Van Gundy coming back to New Orleans?
Well, that's the one. That's the one hiring that I think is pretty interesting because if you look at, there's been rumors of him, the New Orleans organization shopping Drew Holiday. You have Brandon Ingram who has to be re-signed. They really messed up by not signing him last year because he really, provided some scoring, inside, outside, everything. He shot the ball phenomenal. You have Zion. You have, they have that young core there, and I think Van Gundy, you could hear in his telecast last year that he had the passion of coaching. So he really wanted to get back into coaching. He really wanted to and he has a really talented team, that kind of underachieved in the bubble last year. And so it's going to be interesting because he's going to come in there. Van Gundy, he's going to have a lot of energy. He's been very vocal as far as in the social aspects of things, that affect the players in this day and age. So I think it's going to be a good fit personality wise. Van Gundy's issues have always been, during the games and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be a really nice fit to invigorate these younger players. So we'll see if it works out for him.
I know we don't have much time left.
Yeah.
Get into free agency too much.
Yeah, we could. I could just run down the top few free agents that are available.
What do you got? I know Gordon Hayward, Millsap.
Well,
Goes in.
those two don't even make my top five. But Anthony Davis, he's probably going to re-sign.
Anthony Davis, I don't even put him on. He's not going anywhere.
Well, it's a player option, so you can't. But he's still on that list. You have Brandon Ingram, who we just talked about. The number
Ingram is a big one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be restricted tender, but I think he stays in New Orleans. The biggest one that I see,
Fred.
That's exactly right. Fred VanVleet. I mean, listen,
Yes.
is it balling? He's going to be getting 20, 25 million a year, and it's going to be great for him. He
Right.
deserves it.
And I mean, he's came out and said he would like to re-sign with the Raptors.
Yeah, I
he's
think
getting paid wherever he goes. He's what, 20,
he-
25, 26 years old. He's not.
yeah. He came out and said, and I like what he said. I said, I like what he said. He's like, listen, I'm trying to cash out now. This is my time to get paid. So
Yeah,
he's 26 years old. And he started his career slow, and he improved every year, and now it's time for him to get paid. And listen, I support him in that. So I think I would love to see him in the Sixers uniform, but that's not a possibility.
Yeah. I know Montrezl Harrell, unrestricted free agent out of.
Listen, how about Harold's energy? Montrezl Harrell is limited. He got destroyed in the playoffs last year. That was one of the things. Doc Rivers left him out on the court, and he pretty much just got destroyed. He's really struggled in the playoffs last year. But that energy that he brings would, in spots, really would help a lot of teams. Like you said, he's another player that I wouldn't mind seeing come to the Sixers. To give him that hustle, that energy that I think sometimes Joel Embiid lacks.
I mean, we do. There is a shooter, Bertans. I did like him.
David Bertans, he opted out of the bubble.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I liked him.
He's a killer. He's definitely a killer. And
Gallinari's
Gallinari is the other one. He's getting
He's a little older, but
he's a little older. But you know what? I mean, he really played well when he had the opportunity and he's healthy. And I don't see him. I see him ranked in the top 5 of free agents, in pretty much every list. But I don't see a team committing long term to him because of his injury history and
right,
and that kind of stuff. But he's been out there, so it's interesting, man. But listen, let's wrap this up here, bud. I appreciate everybody joining us. I mean, we're gonna go live from the NBA draft next Wednesday at 7:00. Prediction for the Sixers take. Who do you want to see the Sixers take?
I don't even. Cole Anthony.
We'll there you go. We'll get that answer. We'll get the answer at the beginning of next show. So
they're probably in that range, though, right?
Absolutely. I don't know if they worked them out yet, but with the virtual workouts and stuff like that, it's tough to get a read, on who they're checking out, because normally you'd see, you get the reports of these 5 players worked out for this team and that you've seen them in the city or whatever. But so, all right, man, if you want to bring us out, we'll close up the show. I think we have.
I know we don't got much time to run through the outro. So make sure you guys go give us a like on the social medias and stay tuned. I believe Mike Galletta is coming up next with Teeing Off.
Golf talk. That's two nights in a row. Mike
Galletta. Got the Masters tomorrow. Insider info. I got Tony Fanu plus 3,500. Bag.
All right. I'll be cheering.
Hard out.
All right.